Good morning. Welcome to another turn that Michigan took this morning. I woke up and I could see the snow out the window a little bit, and man, it was coming down, but it sure does make. I mean, look at that. That's a Rogue River behind me there, and all of the trees. Like, who could imagine such colorless area could be so beautiful with just white and brown? But yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, thinking about as I was hiking along here, yesterday's post about similarities between hiking and life, and just kind of wanted to explain a little bit. I just because I came to an intersection again, but so I personally have read, or actually I should say listen to. I don't read like I used to. I used to read a lot of books, and now I listen to them on book on tape. I haven't yet evolved into one of those beasts that listen to it on 3 or 4 speed so they can cram more information in. I actually like to listen to it in the speed at which somebody would speak it to me. But I have literally listened to every single book on tape that is available on Audible of somebody who had hiked the Appalachian Trail or hiked the Appalachian Trail, which means they start and then they finish. Some of them start at Springer Mountain, Georgia, and they go all the way up to Mount Katahdin. And other people start at Mount Katahdin and they go down to Springer Mountain, Georgia. And other people flip-flop where they'll do some and then travel to the other spot and start and go the other direction or whatever, based on weather limitations or anything like that. But as I started hiking 8 years ago, I really, like, that was a magnet for me. I think I saw some movie where someone did a big long through hike and it kind of inspired me to want to do that. So it was like February 14th exactly one year. And it might have been 7 years ago. But I was on YouTube and I typed in Appalachian Trail through hike, and boom, it pulled up this guy, and his name was Early Riser. And that was his trail name. People who hike the Appalachian Trail particularly get a trail name or whatever, and other hikers do. It's kind of one of the things. But it was he was in his car, and he was talking about how he was going to go and hike the entire Appalachian Trail. And at the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Valentine's Day. I'm sure his wife is mad. And start thinking about all the stuff that I would think about, which actually made me feel good because I was getting drawn into his experience in that first video, and it made me start to think about what it could be like for me. And at that point, I decided I was going to listen to the whole thing. So like, I'd wake up in the morning and go and look and see if there was another video uploaded overnight. And he was doing it like each day of his journey was unfolding when he had coverage and when he could create these videos. And it was so much fun. But Amanda, because I would play it on the TV through the smart TV, and Amanda would come in and she would see just this trail view as if someone's holding up their camera pointing to the trail in front of them, and it would just be bouncing up and down, and you could hear him walking along the trail, kind of similar to how I do it. But he would be telling the story and talking about some of the different things that he experienced along the way and share different high points. And it got to the point where I was so obsessed with watching this guy's stuff that, like, I remember one time Amanda went in to take a shower or something, and I flipped it on and I was watching it, and then all of a sudden I heard her coming and I shut it off real quick, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I was watching the hiking guy again. But it was funny. But the thing about it is, every one of those experiences that I listened to, I started to get I got an understanding of the different decision points. I got an understanding of some of the different challenges that they overcame for themselves. Some of their life stories, like all of these different stories and experiences that they had that they shared. And, whoa. I mean, at the time, I wasn't just going to go out and hike the Appalachian Trail. I could do it in my own way. But hearing other people's stories was not only inspiring, but it almost made me feel as though I was a little bit of a part of the journey as they shared it. And I am sure or at least I hope that the people that took those journeys and shared those experiences, how much value that they provide to the people who come across them. There was one guy that I actually followed as well. His trail name was the Appalachian, and he said he was the only black guy that he saw as he thru hiked the Appalachian Trail. And the year that he was doing that, I happened to be in Damascus, Virginia, which is trail days where all the people like converge, like 20,000 people come into this town of about 800, and they basically just sleep in tents in the softball field area and go to events and festivities and stuff like that. And I met him and had an opportunity to have a really good conversation with him. Well, now here we are, like 6-7 years later, and I'm still connected to him on social media. He actually moved up to Maine after that journey, bought a homestead, and is completely self-sufficient living off the land. It's so much fun kind of watching his adventures. But the bottom line is, when other people share their adventures and experience, it can provide so much inspiration and so much education and knowledge. So I mentioned that there was a little bit of an intersection. So a couple days ago, you probably noticed I said I was going to be starting the community and that it was going to be launched by tomorrow. I said that was Saturday. Tomorrow was yesterday. And I felt that kind of internal drive that I was talking about that wants to make me push and make sure I beat the competition and don't worry, sacrifice, all go in that direction. Now that I've gone through the self-reflection, I recognize that pattern and it feels so familiar. And honestly, I think many other ventures that I've started and had that urge to just go running really fast was typically the thing that ended my inspiration, or I allowed to end my inspiration, because I either got frustrated, it didn't go the way I wanted it to, or it just became disconnected. Or I just didn't think about it on the front end and really understand why I was doing it. But anyway, so I decided if I'm going to build this community, I think it's really important to be able to have a solid understanding of the purpose, of the value, and really provide the context and the texture of what it is that I'd like it to be, and speak that out so that it gets out there in the universe and things can start to manifest themselves and knit it together. But I realize one of the big things I need is I want to have some partners. Not necessarily business partners, but I'm going to reach out to a few people that I know that are on really cool journeys right now. And I want to help them be some of the conversation starters. I want them to share their story so you can feel that amazing impact. I mean, when that guy that I watched his journey, Early Riser, got up to the top of Mount Katahdin, I wept. And I'm not embarrassed to say it. I was literally crying, and Amanda looked at me and was, "What are you doing?" But I lived with him on that journey as he shared openly, all warts and all, the bad stuff, all the good stuff. And I just felt like I was along. And I want to make sure that this community, we have people, because we're all living extremely valuable, worthwhile, and lives that provide value to other people regardless of our circumstances. And so I believe, especially after we get 50, it's our job to share those stories loudly, proudly, in hopes that it inspires other people to do the same thing. And I want our community to be able to do that. So that's it. That's the intersection. That's what I've been obsessing about this morning. I am just coming to the 5 miles point of my hike and planning on doing at least 15 today. Going to do these longer hikes so I can flesh out more of this plan in my mind. But I will keep you up to date each day as the journey goes and as different turns happen along the way. But thanks a lot. See you. Bye.